Your White House correspondent, was a voice of Jim Acosta there, shouting the questions at the president in the White House on the atrocities over the weekend. And as you heard the president say, he's condemned them. He's condemned them, he says. I have Paris Denard with me now, who's a former White House director of Black Outreach under President George W. Bush. Keith Boykin is a CNN political commentator and a Democratic strategist. Joe Pinion is a supporter of the president. And Sarah Seidner, CNN correspondent, is with us, who's really just been reporting on hate and hate groups in this country over the past year. So welcome to all of you. And Keith, what's just your immediate response in hearing not only the president from earlier today and condemning who he referred to as thugs, you know, KKK, white supremacists, etc., but just now saying, I've condemned it, I've condemned it. Your thought?
It sounds like he doesn't take this issue seriously. Even in his speech earlier, he went through this whole litany about the economy before he even got to the discussion about the white supremacist murdering attack in Charlottesville. Just a few moments ago, when he's questioned about this and by Jim Acosta, he doesn't want to talk about it. He dismisses it. Oh, they've been condemned. They've been condemned. Well, this is a time and an opportunity for the president to speak with moral clarity and with rapid moral clarity. He has failed to do that. It took him just 54 minutes to respond to the African-American CEO of Merck today, Ken Frazier, to condemn him. But it took him 2 days to respond to the racist murdering attack in Charlottesville, Virginia. That's unacceptable. It's an abdication of moral leadership, and it's a failure on the part of the entire Republican Party and those who continue to support him to allow this to happen.
Paris, how do you see it?
I 100% disagree with everything that Keith just said, but that's no big surprise. I normally disagree with everything that he says. When it comes to the president, I was proud to see him once again disavow his association, talk about why he does not associate himself with these organizations, these hate groups. He did this back in March of 2016 with respect to David Duke. And he said, he said, David Duke is a bad person. I disavow from David Duke. I disavow from the KKK. He did that in March of 2016. He gave a statement this weekend that wasn't strong enough for a lot of people because he did not name specifically these different hate groups.
Was just it strong like President. For you?
Yes. Yeah, it was strong. Yes, it was strong enough for me because he came out and said, hatred, bigotry, and violence have no place in our society in America. And that was true. And he was talking about the hate
sides and not specifying groups.
Listen,
okay.
You know what? When President Obama, after Charleston, came out right after Charleston 9 and gave his remarks, it was a very tempered response, and he did not go into details because he didn't know all the facts. He did not name all of those people by name, all those hate groups by name, and did not call that person who was a domestic terrorist, and we knew that he was, a white supremacist, a neo-Nazi, or a member of the KKK. He didn't do any of that, but he didn't receive the backlash. But President Trump did do that today. He did it, and afterwards, when Jim Acosta came and asked him about it again, he said, they have been disavowed. They have been disavowed. They have been disavowed.
Can I just say something real quickly, Brooke?
And the last point to this, Keith, I didn't interrupt you, is that I'm surprised that all of a sudden we want the President of the United States to be our bishop, our priest, our pastor. If you go back to past presidents, Bill Clinton, Richard Nixon for many instances, or even if you go back to JFK, there have been huge examples of moral failure. So the President of the United States has never been someone that we look to be our moral leader. If you want a perfect person, if you want somebody who was beyond fault and repute, you can't elect Jesus Christ because he's the only one that was perft. This is a political leader.
I'm sorry to the other guests. I just have to say something about this. We have a president of the United States right now who started his political career by attacking the first African-American president with a racist birtherist attack, which he continued for 5 years. He started his political campaign by attacking Mexicans, and he started his ascendancy in the political campaign by attacking Muslims. He has a history of racism, and he's failed to repudiate this. This is unlike President Obama. I'm offended that you continue to go there, Paris, but the reality is that President Trump has not done enough, and I'm ashamed that you, as an African-American, Paris, will not say that.
Well, Keith, I don't need you to try to pull my black card. I am well aware of my blackness and don't need you to try to classify me as being one. I understand what racism is. Keith, don't go there. Do not go there. I know what it means to be a black man in this country. I know, and I experience racism on a regular basis by being a Trump supporter and by being a proud American who happens to be a Republican. I get racist
so that's the racism you experience by being a Trump supporter?
I get racist comments about my family, about my mother, about my girlfriend, about my character. Every single day mostly coming from black people, Keith. If you really want to get down to it, my family's from Georgia. Keith, let me finish.
Guys.
My family's from Georgia. We have members of our family that went missing because of the KKK taking them up. So don't come to me and tell me about what it means to be a black person in this country. I fought every day in the George W. Bush White House. Yes, Keith, let me finish.
Calm down.
No. I won't calm down because I will not be attacked by you about my blackness because I happen to be a Republican and I listen to our president.
Paris,
you've
really gone off the rails here.
Okay.
I am going off the rails because you have no grounds and no respect to attack somebody like this.
You're obviously very sensitive and defensive about this issue, Paris, because you have your own issues and demons to resolve.
Get your guests under control.
Just do me a favor. Just please come
get
on
them
my
under
show
control because I would not come on the show and be disrespected and have my
you can disrespect African Americans every day when you come on the show.
Hang on, please.
And you don't represent them at all. You don't represent the 8% of the that voted for this president.
Guys, you're the spokesperson.
Guys,
I'm not their spokesperson, but I happen to be a black person who agrees with this president, and I'm proud that he stood up there and said what he said, denouncing the Klan, denouncing David Duke like he did in March, and denouncing this hatred, bigotry, and violence.
It took him 2 days
he wasn't forced to do it. He was not forced to do it.
Take that conversation, have it off camera. I really would like to have a substantive conversation about.
Yeah, well, he better watch how he talks about me too.
I understand. And let's
Paris, shut up, please, for God's sake. Why do you keep doing this?
So you're gonna let him call me to tell me to shut up?
No,
Kenny Kitchener did that to Simone Sanders. It was a meltdown. Don't tell me to shut up on the show. This is preposterous, and you know it.
Guys, please respect. Give me a minute, Joe. I know you've been listening to all of this. Your eyebrows have been raising. How do you view as a conservative? You know, as a beloved member of the Republican Party, we've talked at length about that. How listening to the president, listening to this conversation on this show. This is where we are now. This country.
I think that the reality is that this is where we've been at as a nation for a very long time.
True.
So I don't think that this is necessarily something that is new. I think that for a lot of Americans, they're just finally realizing the fissures that have existed in this nation for a very long time. I listen to what just occurred right now. It's heartbreaking. Because again, I look at both of you, you are my brothers. And regardless of what's happening right now in this country, that we have to find a way to fix these issues as brothers and not tearing each other down, not